before, right on. You never know when they're going to give you that nod, but it's always a nice appreciation when they do.
Yeah, but with, I think it's like 7.3 something million viewers each week for a show. That's pretty impressive. So you guys have to feel pretty secure in the future of the show. But let me ask, like, this show, it's really about rebuilding America, like, which is no easy feat. You guys are tackling it, however. What do you think is sort of the long run, the long game with The Last Ship? Is this something that you would like to see last 10 seasons? Is it something that you think as a well, I know there's bills to pay, but do you think that this story really could go on that long?
Above my pay grade. I hope so. That'd be great. The writers are pretty on top of it. They have a very creative staff, and they're looking for different conflicts in the new world, as it were. 90% of humanity wiped out, and only one ship. Well, we find a few extra ships along the way that were abandoned. Bad guys take over. I like the analysis of what happens after an apocalypse, how do you restore order in civil society. It's a challenge because in chaos, tyrants rise, and you have to try to put that down.
There's certainly more. It seems to me there seems like there's more naval kind of battles and altercations this season. It feels like even more action-packed. Would you agree with that? And is that something that you were kind of excited to see, that like jamming more of that stuff in there?
Well, once we got the virus seemingly under control, we had to figure out, it is an action-adventure series, so we have the Navy at our cooperation, and they allowed us to blow shit up. It's great. Try to board their ships. We really try, our main goal with the Navy is to make sure that we portray them in as accurate a light as we can. And they allow us to be as inaccurate with the science as possible. Okay. So we have a lot of fun.
Well, they've already done away with America, so yeah.
Yeah, the regional leaders are trying to figure out how to, take control, and will we have that federalist vision of the Constitution or not? And that's the current battle going on. I think we have 2 more episodes this season to air, and we'll resolve some things.
Yeah. And guys, remember, this is really your time, so if you have a question, we've got the microphone right over there, so if you could hop over there, jump in line. And while he's running over there, let me just say that as far as blowing stuff up, there's a thing that says, please remember you may be on TCTV, and they always warn me about something. But if he says it first. But what was your favorite, like, 80s action movie or TV show? Because there's elements in this, and I mean this as a high compliment, high praise. Sometimes it reminds me of the A-Team, as far as, like, shit get blown up real good, and I love that. What were your favorite 80s movies or TV shows with, like, a lot of action?
Well, that's a good question. I was more partial to westerns,
Yay.
but it's blown up in Terminators. Those are great.
Terminators are good. Yeah.
I like the A-Team. I had the honor of working with Mr. T once. Second season of the A-Team, he was the biggest star in the world that year. He was bigger than Madonna. 82 or 83, whatever. But very nice man, very much of a practical joker, and he would always try to put me off my guard or everybody else because he was such a badass.
Yeah.
Sorry, kids.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. My favorite line in Mr. T's when he would come on board, he would go, where's the food? You can't expect a man to work without food. These gold chains are heavy. That's why I'm so strong.
When you first met him, do you address him as T, or as Mr., or as Mr. T?
You start out by calling him Mr. T, and then if he likes you, just call me T.
Like informal?
Yeah.
Just T?
Yeah, T.
All right. I feel like we're learning things here today. That's a good question.
He didn't call me Adam, though, he called me Abbott. The character I played was Albert, but he on purpose just said, no, that's Abbott.
Or to argue with Mr. T.
I still want to go hang out, but Jack has a question.
Did playing Jane on Firefly help you fire the missile?
I'm not good as well. Fire the missile in the last ship? Yeah. No. Jane was more of a reactionary. Slattery's more of a proactive, hands-on guy. I try to keep within my my frame of being what I like to call sniper funny. And the last ship, you have to walk a fine line because of the stakes are so high, and we've lost 300 billion or billions of people with this virus. So that's really sad. And you can't throw in too much gallows humor, although these men are men and these women are women, and they're funny, and you have to relieve the pressure somehow. So I'm always asking the writers, where's the funny? Let me just find one little kernel of it somewhere. And they're pretty accommodating.
But that's also, I mean, that's a way of surviving in this world is finding humor. I mean, like, a lot of the people I speak with in the military, you have to maintain your sense of humor because that's part of the way you survive. So, I mean, that sort of would be true to this scenario, wouldn't you think? That you guys have to find the funny.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just sad.
I think
not willing to fight because we're looking for happiness, and if we can't have happiness, then we're going to fight.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to fight for that. And
Next question.
we're just very blessed to have the folks in the military do what they do so that we can do what we do and have fun and goof off and go to church. It's very humbling for me to be a part of this scenario. I didn't serve in the military, but my father did. He had the tail end of World War II, and so I try to give them as much respect and authenticity as I can. Doesn't always succeed. I know when my finger isn't indexed properly, and I know when my muzzle isn't managed well, and they let me know it. We have technical advisors that say, no, better at it than most of the other guys, but there's a more efficient way of going about it. Reload. Oh, great, perfect. A new tank.
Perfect leading, because former Navy and Murray here has a great question for you.
Yeah, I really appreciate what y'all do keeping the accuracy and impressive to watch. Specifically, what did you do to prepare for your role as XO and now Captain? Because you do a good job of it.
In the early going, we were given some reading materials. One's called Command at Sea by Admiral Stavridis, and we were also given a bunch of manuals describing guided missile destroyer, and I've probably learned a tenth of what I need to learn. It's just, I'm really impressed by how informed and expert those that work aboard these platforms of war, these missile systems, these guided missile destroyers, and the aircraft carriers, and the oilers, and the amphibious assault craft. They're run by and large by 19 to 21-year-olds who know their system, know their job, and they're squared away, and they're fit, and they're do, and I try to, I'm a visual learner, and when I have an opportunity to go and watch them do their job, I'll do that. So in the early going, we got to watch, we went over the horizon on embarkation in San Diego and watched the Halsey go through its maneuvers. And they were firing a 5-inch at speed to the horizon, hitting a tight grouping. And to see the commander and his second in command and the bridge staff crew, they were performing at, you know, breakneck speed and very efficient. And the thing I learned the most about the leadership of the Navy is that it's all about uplifting and support. It's we didn't see the boot camp portion, but the captain of the Halsey and the captains that we met are all about, you know, uplifting. Got any issues? I'm here to help you. And it's a great team effort. The XO, on the other hand, is a little bit more disciplinary. That's his role. So that's what my character has transformed from the XO to the CO, and now he's less of a disciplinarian, and that's well, a new XO. It's a work in progress. I am a work in progress. You are as well.
Hi there.
Okay, so my question's almost the same question, but I want to say also, as I do myself, we really appreciate how you represent us. But going back before the show, because I know you've done a lot of military roles, what kind of research did you do for your earlier shows? Did you get a lot of that detail tied as you're saying right now?
Well, if you look at, again, my trigger discipline and muscle management in my earlier career, not as good as it is recently. So you can see that I've gotten more into specific training with weapon. You know, firearms. My father was in the service, and so I was never afraid of them. I always knew about the safety, but there's specific workings that you need to learn. And you should practice it. It's a perishable skill. Like push-ups, also a perishable skill. I would basically just try to learn from whoever our technical advisor was in, pull out Jack away to the Irving, and reach out to him and say, okay, am I doing this right? And he would yell at me and say, yeah, you're great, it's fine, yeah, mother, you're doing great. And then he'd go out and yell at other people. Well, I guess I'm doing fine.
Is there a role you look back on where you, like one specific one where you go look back and say, oh, that was sloppy of me? Like,
well, we always talk about Independence Day when we shoot the cocaine off the alien spacecraft, that it was language of discharge. Character president's ordering you to fire at that coke can and saying it's okay, it's just not. Especially when there's all these metal angles. That's one.
Hi, what is it like working with Eric Zane, and would you ever consider doing a guest spot on Grey's Anatomy?
Well, that's a you have to be asked thing. Grey's, what a great show. And it's been on for what, 12 years now?
yeah.
Those guys are set. Eric's great. He's my buddy. We became friends in the pilot episode, and you know, he's got kids. They're younger. My kids are grown. His kids are younger, so we have that in common. We talk about that stuff. I try to give him advice about, you know, not getting into, you know, the day-to-day kid stuff that they yell and scream at each other. It's just pretend that's discordant music.
How do you do that?
Yeah. So, oh, well, they're safe. They feel safe in the home enough to be screaming and yelling and, you know. Not that that's all they do. It's just, that's what we have in common.
I don't know,
Also
that's
the
what my
joy of-
kids do.
I was over at his house 6 weeks ago. 5, 6 weeks ago. And we were checking out some cigars because we share that in common. We like good cigars. I was there through dinner, and then he blessed me with the ability to read his oldest daughter a nighttime story. So, and I haven't done that in years. And to sit there with the little boy, you know, just which book was it? The Things You Will Know by Dr. Seuss. And I like to do some great. I'm not going to do it for you here, but if I had the book in front of me, I would. But you know, I'll do strange and funny voices, and the interaction between let's just say 6, and a 6-year-old and the reader is so fun, and I miss that so much because I used to sit my daughters and my son on my lap and just turn pages, and they would go, "What's that?" So I'm reading the story here, and no, "What's that?" That's how reading this book is going to go. So you have to let that happen. Hopefully the book isn't too long. So reading is very important. But Eric's our leader, and I've been blessed to be on 3 shows that I can think of off the top of my head, just to name 3. Firefly with Nathan Fillion as a great leader, funny, solid, professional. Zach Levi on Chuck. Great leader, solid, professional, funny, song and dance man. He really inspired us to come to work and make it good and to support him because he's the lead. Eric's the same way, so it's a great family atmosphere, and if there's a misfit, like the producers say, it's a very deadly virus. Joss let us know that on Firefly too in our first dinner. You were named after the show. Your characters is the title of the show. I honestly thought that they were going to kill me off in the first couple of episodes. Well, why would you want him around? He's a total traitor. So, you know, I tell my wife that. She's like, "Well, you better make him lovable fast." That was my monologue.
I now, though, want to encourage some sort of internet petition to get you on Grey's Anatomy, because I'm just trying to picture the role that you would play, because there's been McDreamy and McSteamy, and you could be like McGrumpy. Like,
no, I mean, I would be a dying patient of some kind.
Yeah.
Oh, no, those are the Emmy Award winners.
You would be a couple episode arc, right?
Yeah, a couple episodes. He died.
All love, then he dies, he gets the Emmy. Like, that's how it works.
Back to the last shit. Perfect. What disease would I have?
Yeah.
You're the virus. You're the beginning of the virus.
And they figure it out.
It's the Grey's Last Ship, shared cinematic universe, shared TV universe, weird crossover, yeah.
I always have these fantasies when I die in films or TV, in films or TV, that harkening back to those young days with my brothers, where we used to run around the house and play Army. And our goal was, whoever was, you know, like simultaneous death, that whoever was able to die and get the words out, "You dirty bitch," and then die first, without the other ones saying, "You dirty bitch." Whoever got it out last and then died, won. I always imagine that one. Now, bitch. These are the things we draw from our youth.
I'm a big fan of the slow motion death, you know, like the... And you just don't see enough of those anymore. Like, bring it back.
I guess Tarantino does it.
Yeah, yeah. And he killed off a lot of people, so yeah, I guess he's keeping it alive, ironically. Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for being here. I love the interplay between Chandler and Slattery and the honor and the appreciation and the obvious affection you have for each other. I was just wondering, is there anyone in real life that you equate that relationship to, that you draw on?
Well, my father, for one, he's tough but fair, and I respect him and love him with all my heart, and we disagree on things, and it's fun to have arguments with him because he's very smart and still around. He's 90 years old now. And still plays golf. He's fit as any 90-year-old is going to be. And, I'm going to go see him end of next month and play a little golf.
Oh, we said hey.
Hey. Dragon Con says, hey, Dad. What's Dragon Con? It's a place where people go and get together and have fun, and it's a party, and they talk about shows and things. Which shows? You mean like Downton Abbey? Something like that, no. Well, NPR's on now. Would you fast forward that Haydn that's on here? He loves classical music. He's part of my repertoire of grumpiness.
What is
funny? He's snide and funny and hilarious.
What's the role that you got that you had to sort of explain? I mean, because I would imagine, let's say Firefly is not an easy gig to try to explain that, I'm working on a spaceship, but it's like a Western, sci-fi. What was the one where your folks were like, wait, so what about this again? The one that confused them the most?
I think Chuck probably was because my dad, he's the one that would take me to these shoot 'em ups, he called them, where, the old Clint Eastwood westerns and whatnot. And then when he would see a show like, Chuck, he said, well, that little 9mm pistol against the machine gun is just not effective. That machine gun will take you down, but good shooting. That's Dad. And the NSA, are they really armed? Isn't that mostly the tactical armaments? Yeah, I said, shut up, Dad. But I'll say that blonde is very adorable. Hey, Dad, still working.
I like your dad.
Sounds like mine.
So I know you did a lot of prep for the military aspects of being on the show, but this season you were captured and there was torture and that whole 4 or 5 show arc, whatever that was. Did you guys do any prep for that as an active crew or yourself on how to prepare for that kind of a situation and be in that situation?
We talked a lot about The Great Escape and Sand Pebbles and Papillon, and we tried to just to keep it as deadly serious as possible, but it's vampires, which is great. They set up this great little village where, I'm sorry for the spoilers, but there's a village there. Catch up later. I won't explain it too well. There's a village where we're captured, and they built that, and it was in the wintertime, so it was cold. It's not freezing cold, but it was in the 40s in the morning, low light and damp, and so we only had little bags of clothes on. But some silk underwear, don't tell anybody.
You're from Chicago, that's not cold.
It's not like it's a North Face down. We'll work with guys right off camera. Okay, cut. Yeah, you should go. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. We're spoiled. So the prep work was just being there. I think once we realized, and the script, read the script. That's important. But that was a really good group of actors that was there. We really relished that variety of being off the ship, not so squared away. And my character laments the fact that he fell into the trap. I don't write it, I just sort of play it. as a laugh line.
How much more difficult is it to navigate a Navy ship than Serenity, or how you would imagine Serenity?
Well, shucks, it's much more difficult to navigate the real one. The real one's more difficult, requires a much bigger crew. Just Wash and Haley can keep that thing flying. How complicated can it be?
Good question, though. Hi.
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 How long did it take you to find your sea legs?
That's a great question. I found it pretty quickly, but I was hanging out in oak country, so it's easier when you're up above deck than when you're down below deck. After a couple hours, I think the experience of them bringing us aboard and going over the horizon and on maneuvers, we stayed 2 nights, that sort of kept it in, locked it in early. As long as you can see the horizon, you're good. And don't eat too much.
Mr. T would not survive on that ship then.
Can you imagine if he got swung over? Down he would go.
Yeah, he just does changes, yeah. Anchor him down.
He doesn't wear as many. He doesn't wear as many anymore.
Yeah, he's taken a lot off.
I think he proved his point.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. Hi.
Hey, thanks for being here. And I want to let you know, I served as an XO in Airborne Battalion, and you really do a good job as your role as an XO. I really like it.
And thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. As a real deal XO, can you give me what your main through line was in terms of relationship with A, the captain, and B, the crew?
I would tell company commander, I said, my job is to bring the boss, the old man, the bad news. Your job is to make sure you get things done. And that's how I approached it.
And when they didn't get things done properly?
They got their ass kicked by the
Yeah.
My question has to do, if you could tell me what your daily interaction with your military technical guys were, and how did you interact, and were some you like, yeah, this is spot on, and no, he's full of crap.
The scripts go through a vetting process with our advisors to make sure that it's technically accurate and that it we have an advisor with us whenever we're filming Navy scenes, and they're there for accuracy purposes. And when we're doing, say, action gunfight sequences, we have an extra, we have a ship expert, minimum of a lieutenant. Sometimes we have the captain come visit us and hang with us on the set. Generally, it's at least a lieutenant. And when we're doing actiony bits with weapons, then we have a SEAL team advisor who comes. He works a lot with Michael Bay in his action productions, and they come in to make sure that we're indexing properly and moving through it. Still, if you watch carefully, you can see, okay, that's an actor with a gun, and those are guys who are clearly military. And they're generally the team that supports us. And I love the fact that we have organizations that work with movies and television who they rotate guys that come back from deployment, and they let them come play with us. And so it's a really great supporting staff. Like, I'm just an actor, but I have a real special forces or SEAL team guy that I can turn to and say, is this squared away properly? How can I make this dial in better? I'm like, oh yeah, you gotta fix your sling. Your sling's all stupid. And so they're right there with us, and they'll tell us how to breach doors and cover our six and all that stuff. So I'm humbled to be in the presence of master craftsmen. I consider our warriors to be athletes. These guys are top physical condition. even the wounded guys who come back, they get themselves back in shape and they want to get back on their feet and into the action. So our little playground for them is a way for them to, whether they're going to rotate back or not, is a way for them to get acclimatized back into the world, to have some good camaraderie, team effort, and it's fun to watch them, even though the weapons are, not quite up to their standards. This thing jamming happens when you fire planks, they still fight a lot. But that's technical terms.
Well, that's fascinating. I've never heard that before. That you're bringing in guys that were just coming out of deployment and then going back. Is that typical for a production, or is that pretty unique to?
No, I think that's very common.
Is it?
Yeah. If you look at any of the big productions out there you see a SWAT team in a TV show or a movie, those guys are real deal, and the actors will be generally up front. The actors will be the ones without the helmets and the goggles.
Yeah.
I just didn't know they were still active.
The real guys will be like wearing helmets.
That's crazy. That's fascinating. Yeah, I didn't realize that you were using people that were still active.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Some are retired.
Some are
some
still
want to
going
go
right back
yeah.
out. Huh. Cool.
First of all, my wife wanted to say, I hope I got this right, she loves you in DC Cab.
Oh, thank you. Who's the kid with all the hair?
And secondly, my point is, I wanted to tell you how much I appreciate the complex character you created in Slattery, because he may look and act like a hard ass on the outside, but he shows an awful lot of complexity, self-doubt, the way you had him interact with Chandler when he came back on the ship after you're in charge and he's back on and you're like subordinate. You have shown a lot of complexity. Talk to us a little bit more about the interaction of the relationship between Chandler and Slattery. It is really a complex. It's not very superficial. It's very deep. There's a lot of interaction there, a lot of past history. Explain that. Talk about that.
Well, they're equals in rank really until he gets bumped up to CNO on ship. As far as, you can correct me if I'm wrong, sir, the XO and the CO they're both commanders. Just one has to be the ultimate charge, and the XO is in line to take over command of the ship. And that was sort of Slattery's progression, because Chandler was due to be bumped up. And if you look at the pilot episode again, you'll see that they talk about that briefly, how he's going to be rotating back and bumped up into some desk job in Washington. It's a promotion and all that, but he's out of the action, and then Slattery will take over. But events intervene, and so therefore Slattery doesn't get his command until this season. And like I said, his job is a supporting role. And I don't know if you saw J.K. Simmons' speech at the Academy Awards a couple years ago. He won for Whiplash as supporting actor. Great. But he talked about how we are supporting actors for the play itself, for other actors in the scenes. And when you have a group of actors that are willing to do that, it's magic. And that's the kind of ethos I try to bring to my relationship with him, is I will defer to him because I respect him. Even though he may be making the wrong call, I'm entitled to question that call in private, not to be insubordinate in front of the other crew. But I can verbally challenge him as much as I want in private, because that's the respectful thing to do. And I respect his family. He's a family man. Slattery's a family man. Everything else is sort of like little private things. You don't give away all your secrets, but that's the goal, is to support, increase, appreciate your fellow commanders and your crew. That's the thing I learned the most working around the Navy, is that it's such a team effort to keep that ship afloat and on course, that everyone needs to appreciate that mission. And if you have squeaky wheels, they're going to get some grease. Keel hauled. Hi there.
It's a great show. I love all the plot twists, and it got really good this season with some of the things that happened. When you're filming the show, how far ahead do you know, you're working on episode 2, how far ahead do you know what's going to happen, or do you kind of find out week to week what's going to happen and how you're going to play that role? And, okay, wait, this guy's my enemy, and now he's going to be my friend and work with me? Wait, I mean, you read it and you're like, I don't know how we're going to pull this off, or you're just like, oh, this is going to be great.
Yeah, the writers, they suss out pretty much the arc of, if you're talking about like Takahaya, his arc has been worked out, so they were able to share with myself and the other crew that were part of it, that would be working with him throughout his arc, where it was going. So we would get that ahead of time. Not everything you get it. Sometimes they don't, events will unfold that they can plug in for later that we couldn't possibly know a couple months ahead of time. For instance, the episode that's airing this tomorrow is, we shot that back in probably April. Yeah, March or April. So it's a long time lead time before it airs. And But again, I'm the actor. I want to do my role as best I can. I don't want to also interfere with the producers and the writers. I don't want to be that. So where's my character going? And I want to do this. No, I'm not that guy. So you guys write it, and I'll play it. You can question how I play it, and more input the better. I like a lot of input, just not in between takes. Like a lot of chatter in between takes. Once we're filming this scene and it's on me, we're going with that. Which does mean you have to be adaptable though, because another actor may do something really wonderful that changes your perspective on how the scene is supposed to be played. You have to be open to that. But generally, once you just don't have time in television to change the plan mid-scene. No, we're blocking it. We're going that way. So this is how we're playing the scene. Oh, okay, cool. But this is brilliant. I've come up with this whole new thing. And you come back and turn around and do my coverage so I can play it completely differently.
Well, with the next season, and obviously without details, but it was only announced that it was renewed not too long ago, so, and you obviously knew before then, I would assume, but how much do you know about what's going to happen to your character in the overall arc of season 4? Did they already lay it all out for you, or are they just now breaking sort of those stories?
They've given us some clues. I know that I'm not dead. I think so. They wouldn't probably.
It'd be very awkward. We want to let you know we're renewed, but you're dead.
It's like Alan said yesterday. Hey, happy Christmas, Firefly. Here's the party. Canceled. Too soon? I was watching a couple episodes on the plane flight over, and I watched the pilot episode of God, they're good. They're so good. It's been a while. It's been several years since I had actually sat down and watched them, an episode all the way through. Just the production quality, the acting, the writing, it's just so good. It's such a shame. It really should have been. Different times. I think had it aired now, we would still be going.
Yeah.
Just because of all the different outlets and Netflix would have picked it up or Hulu or somebody would say, no, that's good enough to keep going. We're getting a truncated season though, only 10 episodes. Like, that's fine, we'll do that.
I'm curious about your impetus to actually download it or, I mean, maybe you just have them on your computer, but go back and rewatch it. What made you go back and rewatch those episodes?
Well, I was looking for something to watch on the plane flight that I could download onto my iPad, and it was $9.99. Well, it's been, what, how many years? 14 years. So, I just wanted to review it again because I figured I'd be talking to people about it. And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
God, I love watching the relationships build in that pilot episode, and that battle sequence. The production of that battle sequence at the very beginning was just great.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Still hold on. It's a good thing to reflect upon.
Yeah.
Hi there.
Hi. So aside from the difference in genre and the difference between with having the technical advisors and a real ship and stuff like that, what has your experience been? What has been different between working with Michael Bay versus working with Joss Whedon?
Well, on Firefly, Joss was present pretty much. He was really hands-on. Michael has turned it over to a really great team and allowed them to take the helm, and he's been more hands-off. He's busy making big movies, and he's been around a couple times. Just he seems happy, and he's got a show that's going into season 4. Hard to complain about that. And I love them both. They're completely different personalities, but they're both brilliant at what they do, and they're strong leaders, and they know what they want, and you better give it to them.
Thank you. Hi.
This isn't a question, this is more for Adam's dad. We do cover Downton Abbey here at Dragon Con.
Okay.
There you go. Pretty good sales pitch, I mean.
That's awesome.
I don't even think I knew that. Actually,
This is what? I was thinking, no, I don't know. Well, listen, like what? Stop correcting me as an English major. I know you get away with saying like and you know, what? Come on down to Dragon Con. Down there is bad. Yeah, I do. Sitting back there. This is a freak show.
him on the panel, just you and him on the panel.
If he were sitting here right now, he would leave. He's great. He's really mellowed in his ancient. He's robust. He's amazing.
Is there any part of you that still reverts back to like a 15-year-old you when you're talking to him? Does he still have that ability to get that out of you?
We weren't talking too much when I was 15. My son's 19 now, so we're talking again. He's still my old man. He's a handyman. That's not what he did for a living, but he was a handyman. He built half the house we lived in by himself. The only thing I won't do is put in a waste line because that can get messy. I'll do all the prep work. We'll make everything perfect for the plumber to come in because he charges by the hour and get him out of it. I'll finish the rest of it. He was trying to climb up last year, trying to climb up and clear the gutters and leaves at his house.
Oh, no.
And his wife was like, Bill, you get down from there right now. Just a few more leaves, dear. No, you get down from there. She loves it.
It really is true what they say, that they don't make them like they used to. Like, that generation is captured in time. Like, they're just, that kind of person I don't think is out there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hired guys like that. But it's true, man. It's good. I don't know what's wrong.
Just get your dad to come over and clean up.
Here, Dad, here's a plane ticket. Come on out. Please get gutters. All you gotta do is hang out with me and the missus and the kids. Listen, my son play. What's his genre right now? My son's a metal drummer. What's he called now? It's doom sludge and death jazz. He tests me now. He'll play. I say, okay, play me some different genres of metal, so I'll see if I can identify them. Oh, that's thrash. Right. Oh, that's grindcore. Right. That's sludge. I'm not sure. And he's just laughing. Okay.
Ironically, those sound like characters of like villains that we would encounter in Dragon Ball. Death Jazz.
Doom sludge and death jazz.
There's a comic book coming.
Well, it's great you're talking about the relationship between you and some of the more senior actors, but you've got a lot of younger actors working with you on this series too. What sort of relationship do you have with them, and what sort of advice do you try to give them as you go through?
I'm not a preacher. I just try to lead by example, show up on time, hit my marks, say my lines, no, most of the time. Some of the techno jargon is difficult to get going, so that takes a lot of practice. And the young actors we have are dedicated and they have fun and they're smart and they want to please and they want their characters to grow. And you know, if they come to me or if we're just hanging out and we talk about stuff, I just say, you know, just don't worry about it. Just, you know, again, I said this to Pam yesterday. I say this all the time. Just you come from a platform of love. If you're standing on a stage of love, you will do well in that scene. If you let fear creep in, then that scene will fall apart. So love the game, love the players, love the fact that you're here and appreciate it now, because all shows come to an end eventually. And just, that's the thing I learned in my career is because I've been doing it almost 40 years, is that you need to appreciate it while it's happening and appreciate the people you're working with. They're doing a great job on that.
What was your, personally, the biggest challenge, hurdle you had to overcome as a young actor? Because some people, maybe they have a hard time learning lines, other people have a difficult time learning to listen during a scene. What was the thing that you had to overcome?
There was a movie called U-Turn. I was watching Sean Penn in U-Turn, and I had been working, but I looked at that performance, I thought, I don't know how he's doing what he's doing, and I had to figure it out. What is it he's doing? So I studied that film, and I realized it's very simple. He had figured out how to be still. And I think that's what young actors have. Some people get it earlier than others. I didn't have it until that sort of time frame in my life. And once I learned stillness, especially with the camera, it's important because not only does it put you at rest and therefore comfortable to say and mean what you're saying with the people you're working with, it reads better on television. And the other thing was Michael Caine, I believe it was, said don't blink. And you watch the guys that you really love, they rarely blink. And it's because if you blink, you allow the audience to blink, and you also allow the editor to cut away from you.
Yes, Michael Caine, what a wealth of knowledge and acting information that guy is. Like,
yeah, don't blink. Oh, and also Lucille Ball, she said some of the three most profound words in all of acting is know your props. So I try to find always something to do in the scene. This is sort of a nothing scene, so I'm just hand acting. But so I try to work with Prop Master to fill this scene with stuff that I can do, be it a cigar, be it a knife, be it a piece of food, whatever. Give me some stuff. You know, I ask them to be creative. They're part of the set dressers. Like, okay, what's Slattery's stateroom look like, and put stuff in there that he can work with.
Doesn't that, but that adds like a whole extra, I mean, obviously the body is so important to acting, but hands, is that not a challenge to not devolve into fidgeting and too much movement?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to be specific, we used to do this, my wife and I used to watch soap operas when the babies were born, because we're just hanging around and there's nothing on during the daytime while the baby's nursing or napping. So we watch soap operas. And invariably, there's a scene where there are two people just kind of standing there talking to each other. And it's a two-shot. And one of them, their hand will come up. Listen, you don't understand what Janine said to Brad back there, and the hand would get up there and it would stay. Got it? And then the other one would start talking. And while that other person was saying, well, Janine and Brad said, and the hand would slowly come down. And the other person's hand would come up. Got it? So we had tissues that we would throw at the screens. Flag on the play. Unnecessary hand acting. On Janine or Frankie or whatever his name is.
It would be like a Chet. That's like a soap opera name.
Which soap opera?
I don't know.
Oh, no, there's General Hospital and Days of Our Lives.
Okay, so whenever you're talking about how serious the tone and everything of the set was, do you have any practical jokes behind the scenes? And if so, like, what's your favorite joking thing, or like anything between actors and stuff like that?
On the current show?
Yes.
Let's see, they're all so foul-mouthed. It usually has to do with foul-mouthed stuff. Can't repeat here.
Why not?
It's too salty. It's just too salty for a mixed company. But some of the younger guys, believe it or not, Adam Argoyan, who's from Disney, he had one of the what they teach these kids over there. But hilarious. Don't get me wrong. I have a pretty dark sense of humor as it comes, but practical jokes. I'm not a practical joker on the set because I respect the time frame. I think there's not enough time to screw around. So I'm not the guy to shoot it that way. I don't know why, but fishing.
Yeah, I was wondering, what was your favorite scene to do in Firefly or Serenity?
The mule chase scene in Serenity in the beginning of bad guys, because they had me rigged up on cables sort of floating behind the mule as it was hovering across over this ditch next to the road, and there was this crane arm that held the mule, and then there were two trucks with these gigantic techno cranes that were floating in and out and zooming and going past our heads, and it was hot and it was dusty and just great, sweaty and gross. And the joy on to see the joy on Joss's face when it got resurrected, that first camera slate on the scene, first camera roll. I made sure I wasn't in the scene. It was the scene where Simon breaks in and breaks River out of that evil dungeon lab. That was the first stuff they shot, and I wanted to be sure I was there for that. Okay, scene 23, roll one, take one, and it was just joyous. From the I know Joss stories chased it. So that one.
He's a janitor in Alan's game.
I know. I started playing You gotta buy stuff though, and then you gotta start watching ads and all that.
Yeah.
That's how you monetize.
Yeah.
I'm at 15.
So this would be the final audience question. Hi there.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you?
Officer Dex sends his or her regards. All reports have been taken from members have been exchanged and calibrated. Request permission to strike 8 bells on time.
No issues? No issues whatsoever?
No issues.
Strike the bells.
I'll just vote, sir. All right, my first question for you. Season 1, you always had the SH-60 Seahawk with you. Lab was in the helo hangar. Early Bird Flight 2. Not a whole lot of room. Where did that darn helicopter go every single time?
We dismantled it and we just stored in the other helo bay along the walls.
Obviously.
We lashed it to the side.
Everybody wants to know about your relationship with the other actors. I want to know your relationship with the ship. What was your favorite part and your least favorite part of shipboard life?
Oh, well, in Pretend Ship, which is a set, the worst part is the heat buildup because it gets hot. The ventilation is not as strong. If you go into CIC, that's changed though in season 3 and 4. First 2 seasons, it wasn't good. I have 2 pet peeves when I work. One is it's too loud and chattery in between takes because it's distracting. The other, it's unnecessarily hot on a stage because it's distracting because you just start sweating. And it doesn't match and it's just uncomfortable. And then we have air conditioning, we can just put that in. Fortunately, on a high-level production like ours, when you ask for it, they, oh yeah, of course, we'll do that. So that, and Pretend Ship, the stage has more elbow room, though, and more headroom. So the actual ship, I hit my head a few times. There's this little black box that hangs right above the wheelhouse, and the heads are kind of dicey when you get down below. I know they're not.
Yeah.
I toured a submarine once, and there was a guy taller than I was. He said, "I just love submarines." He's 6'6". Well, how do you? The joke is, well, how do you work that? Just work the corners. Makes sense.
When do you go back to film season 4? When you guys go into production?
We don't have an official start date, but traditionally the last 3 years has been third week in October, so I anticipated this in there.
All right. Well, soonish. But in the meantime, you can catch this guy at Autograph Alley, go say hi. And